The State of Formalization of Labor Relations between 2015 and 2020. For me, it has meant gaining experience, an important life change. It has meant fulfilling myself as a person, having a permanent contract, a contract that meets my expectations and that allows me to achieve my dreams. When our companions in the labor union spoke to us, we agreed, figuring that there would be no difference between indefinite term contracts and direct contracts. At least economically, nobody was going to earn more than others, nor was going to have more benefits. The indefinite term contract has given us much better work stability. Fortunately, with this work, we have been able to help my daughters get ahead and to study. And the challenges are to fulfill the tasks, to do well what the company demands. It has also a change to use the safety tools and to implement safety procedures. It was a little hard to get used to it at first, but we're used to it now. From a managerial perspective, we have seen this process as a winning experience for all of us who have participated in the project, in this process. From an organizational standpoint, in principle, the challenge was not so much the formalization of labor relations as it was normalization. This meant that the worker relearned, that he began to understand what the norms meant, what compliance with standards meant, from working hours to the use of safety elements, many aspects of which these workers were not really accustomed to. At the beginning, there were quite a few setbacks, and a pedagogical process was obviously needed to get them to change, which was not always easy. In some cases, disciplinary measures had to be taken, but little by little, the workers began understanding their new reality, their new condition. Let's say that we all evolved through the process, because if it hadn't translated into an evolutionary process, it would have simply become a neutral one, which neither adds nor subtracts, and I don't think that was the idea. A formalization process has to enhance the organization, because an already formalized worker who enters the company and begins adhering to the standards I am referring to is a worker who learns the concept of productivity more so than that of absenteeism, learns about productive costs, efficiency, best practices, and all that business language, that new conversation that arises between these new workers and the rest of the organization. This immersion into the world of the organization then translates into positive results. More specifically, many aspects of formalization have expanded beyond the group of new formal workers to the rest of the labor force because, as I've been saying, we are generating an important dynamic that gives them all a sense of belonging to the organization, and, I repeat, this translates into tangible results. I have felt very good here in the company, and the job is very stable. Every day we know exactly what we have to do. We take out the cell phone, check our programming for the day, and I say, okay, good, today I go to such and such a place. So, in this sense, we are very happy to be workers in Palmas del Cesar. Palmas del Cesar, on December 11, 2015, after verification by the Vice Minister of Labor Relations and inspection, at the time and by the virtue of Article 13 of Law 1610 of 2013, proceeded to sign a formalization agreement with the Ministry of Labor. Through this agreement, the company made a commitment to employ 225 people through indefinite and fixed-term contracts. From the time the negotiation for the formalization began, I entered with an indefinite-term contract. Personally, the indefinite-term contract has been a great change for both me and for my family. Thanks to the contract, all that I have ever wished for and the dreams that I have shared with my family have come true. Thanks to working here, I have been able to continue to support my children and my wife, and to help my children get ahead and to succeed. There have been no differences with any worker. When we were on a fixed contract, we were never discriminated against by the other colleagues who were on an indefinite term contract. Everything has been very clear with all the workers. They all have the same benefits, and the company has always been very clear and very transparent with all of us. 5 years ago, 225 new workers joined the company. With the signing of the contract and the employment of the workers, the documentary part of the agreement had been implemented. However, an employment relationship depends on many other factors that must be developed day by day. That has been the main challenge of these 5 years since formalization of the labor relations agreement began, to generate a new organizational culture based on social dialogue. And within the new labor relationship, it was necessary to work not only with the norms that already existed, but also to enrich the new workers with innovative ways of thinking and with new ways of perceiving their lives. To accomplish this, it was necessary to build a relationship of trust. And to build a relationship of trust, it was necessary to improve and to modernize our procedures, to resort to new mechanisms and tools, to create new committees, to create programs such as the Palmas in Action program that connects each of the workers with ideas for innovation and productivity, where we are all heard equally and we can all contribute and carry out ideas that improve our own results and the results of the company, and thus manage to deal successfully with the challenges that this sector encounters. Thank God that with this work, my daughter has been able to study and is about to graduate this year. My son is in high school, and I hope that he too will be able to pursue a career after he graduates. And, God willing, with this work, that will be possible. I began working with a fixed-term contract, and just now, on the 7th of this month, I got an indefinite term contract, and the truth is, I feel very happy about that. The formalization process has focused on building a philosophy of social dialogue, where there is a permanent back and forth communication which is clear and done in a timely and open manner. We have always respectfully recognized that we are all different, but that these differences enrich the ways we can find solutions to the situations that present themselves to us on a daily basis. In this way, we have worked every day to find ways of identifying common objectives, to generate well-being in our new workers together with the workers who have been with us for years. We have also been able to build a shared version of the future of the company and to integrate individual goals with corporate goals. We have been able to develop a unique relationship culture. Nowadays, dialogue is part of each of our processes, and dialogue is not just an exercise in communication, but an exercise that leads to joint action, which is woven and built day by day and designed to continue in this way. During these 5 years, in which the Ministry of Labor has been monitoring and verifying the formalization agreement signed between the Palmas del Cesar company and the Ministry in 2015, it has been a pleasant experience for us to see improvement in the relationships that have existed or have consolidated among the workers, the union organization, and the Palmas del Cesar company. What we have experienced from the formalization agreement that the company signed with the Ministry of Labor has been most interesting because it has reflected benefits for the workers, for the union organization, and for the company itself. These are reflected in the job stability that workers have and the benefits which they have gained through the collective bargaining agreement, which has guaranteed their well-being and also that of their families. This is an agreement that has proven to be an excellent one. The company has fully complied with the terms of what it signed with the Ministry of Labor. In the 5-year period during which we have been implementing the labor formalization contract, the Ministry of Labor and the sub-executive Minas Union organization have carried out 2 important functions: inspection and surveillance of the labor formalization agreement. In the inspections that the Ministry of Labor and the Timber Trade Union organization have carried out, the legal, labor, and occupational health and safety regulations have been fully complied with. They have also verified compliance with what was agreed upon in the labor formalization agreement, thereby generating development and progress for both workers and their families, for the community, and for the company. On the other hand, through the application of social dialogue and in order to avoid concerns on the part of the newly formalized workers with a fixed-term contract, due to the expiration of the term agreed upon in the labor formalization agreement and by Decree 2020 of 2011, the labor union and the Palmas del Cesar company signed an act through a conventional agreement by means of which the effects of the labor formalization agreement are extended until 2023. The company committed itself not to dismiss any formalized worker without there being a just cause or an objective reason for doing so. Finally, it can be said that Palmas del Cesar is one of the few companies that has 100% of its staff formalized directly through employment contracts. My assessment as manager of the company regarding the formalization process is that although it has entailed great challenges, it has definitely been a winning process. In Palmas del Cesar, we feel comfortable and satisfied with the process. We know that the new formalized workers are all thinking in exactly the same way, that the uncertainty they may have initially had regarding its continuity has been resolved in an agreement that was made through collective bargaining. Independently of the issue of formalization itself, and solely among ourselves, we thought, come on, let's agree on a couple more years about the conditions of these workers. We all understood that stability is not given by the formalization process itself, but rather by everyone's working closely together in the pursuit of a common goal, and through the results that each one of the workers is able to achieve. This is part of the reality of this company and of any company in the world. So, in short, it has been a very positive process indeed. A few days ago, the formalization agreement ended. However, the commitment of this company to each of its 630 workers is to continue building day by day an employment relationship that generates well-being for the workers and their families, that provides benefits and positive results for everyone, that allows everyone to attain their dreams, and that allows us to grow this company for another 60 years.